There we go. You should have sound now on YouTube as well. So, evening Noala. There we go. We should be all set. There's always a button I forget to press. So we get our lovely poly plate. Then we get our stamp set as well. So we get a large dandelion and a smaller one, and you also get some little seeds that are floating off into the distance if you want to. And if I turn them over, they are a really good size. So these are great on your like 6-inch cards, but they also fill your 8x8s and those larger cards. So you get a big one, a smaller one, and then some little seeds as well. And then you get 2 sayings with this. So happiest of birthdays to you. If I turn that over again, you can see it's a good, well, it's longer than my thumb. And then the other one is thanks for brightening up my day. And again, it's another good size sentiment there. So I'm going to put them to one side, and then I'm just going to share some of the cards. So what I have done, oh, I meant to pull those colours out. What I've tried to do with this one is concentrate on backgrounds. So really simple backgrounds, which makes your stamp pop out. And that's what we're going to do today, some really simple backgrounds. So on this one, I've literally created a strip of colour and then stamped our dandelions over the top. I was going to call them, I was going to call them clocks, but they're not, are they? We used to get shouted at when we were kids for blowing them and sending the seeds everywhere. So literally I've created a strip of colour and then stamped a couple over the top. And you'll notice I have just used a pen to highlight mine, because I think it does really make it stand out that little bit better. If I lift it up actually, there you go, you can see I've just used a marker pen to highlight it a little bit more. So that's that one. We've got one with the poly plate, so I've used the smaller stamp here. Again, I've used a different colour just to highlight that dandelion, so it's a very subtle yellowish colour. And then, there we go. We've got our stamp poly plate, I think that was Distress Ink. And then happiest of birthdays to you, down there at the bottom. Next up, again, one of those poly plates, and you can see what I've done with this one. I've created an ombre using that poly plate. So I've got my red, my orange, and my yellow, really simple, and it creates such a stunning background for our card. And then we've got our 3 lovely dandelions just stood there nice and tall. I like dandelion too. I think it's a good one because it can be used for so many different cards. And then we've got another background there. So I've literally used up my scraps for this one. So I've stamped my dandelion onto a piece of scrap, and then I don't know if you can see it actually, it was really hard to photograph as well. I've just used one of the colours from this background piece to kind of colour in. There we go, you can just about see it, colour around it, so it's got like a sense of colour, yeah. And then we've just got a decorated piece of card, so whatever size that card was, it's just been coloured in using the same colours as I used, and I'm going to use again tonight, so you can get some different ideas. My 3 different go-to colours in the background, and then I've used some of my words and some of those little seed heads as well, just to create a panel of interest. Yeah, it really doesn't need much, does it? And that was using the larger stamp. And then this one, I have gone for all colour. So inked it up, added some words in the background. You can see as well I have stamped the dandelions in the same colours as my background to create that idea that there's more there than what there is. And then I've got those 3 that stand out, and I don't know if you can quite see as well, but I've actually just removed some of the colour. There you go, if I hold it like that, can you see like you've got this like halo around these dandelions? Yeah, and all I've done there is I've used my Distress Oxide, and I've just removed this using water, yeah, to give that idea, because dandelions aren't solid, are they? They're very like mystical, I think. So that's what I've done with that one. And then I'm going to move on to Mum's cards. So we have got 3, I don't know if they can quite see that one. She's used white embossing powder on vellum, and it is quite hard. Nope. There you go, if I hold it like that, you can just about see it. So we've got a very mottled background, again with the words and those seed heads to create that background. And then we've got our 3, don't know whether you can quite see, vellum dandelions. So we've got 2 big ones and a little one, and it's been stamped in white embossing powder on white vellum. And then we've got our saying down at the bottom. There we go. Next up, we've got a pretty in purple. Pretty in purple. There we go. Again, you can just see that polyplate's been used to create a background. So if you're not confident going around splodging your ink, so popping it on your table, spritzing it, and then think, this is a great one. So just whack some colour on it. Doesn't even have to be totally inked up. Just some colour on it, spritz it and stamp it, and you will get a wonderful looking background with like a distressed, splodgy kind of background. Evening, Rachel. And then again, we've used our dandelions, because you're going to see dandelions on every card I think we make this time, aren't you? So we've got our lovely dandelions again. We've got some of our sayings in the background, and again those lovely little seed heads just poking around, and then our sentiment down at the bottom. Next up, we're all in blue this time. So we have got the smaller dandelion used for our background. We've got polyplate in there. We've got our seed heads in there. We've got a bit of a smooshy background as well with our blues in there. And then I don't know if you can quite see, our dandelion has a sparkly stalk as well. But yeah, wonderful backgrounds. And these stamps are just wonderful because they can take any background you throw at it, yeah? And that's what we're going to be playing with this month. It is about backgrounds and just having fun. Lots and lots of colour and our backgrounds. So this one we've got the small dandelion, and if you'll notice, I don't know if you can quite see, I'm rubbish, aren't I, since I've moved my camera. There we go. What Sue has actually done here, I'm not sure if she's embossed it or she's got a spot. Oh no, yes, she's embossed it. She's embossed it with like iridescent, so it's got a real nice sparkle to it, except for I'm not really doing it any justice because I'm not waggling it in the right camera light. I've increased the number of lights I've got to hopefully help with that, but it's not. Evening, Victoria. So there you go, you've got that one. She's used polyplate around it. We've got a lovely little die cut, and then we've got those seed heads in the background again on that one. And I'll just be sat here trying to make that one. It is beautiful. You've got that lovely like iridescent look to it. Next up, we've got a lovely DL. And that's what I was saying about these stamps. They work on any size card. You get away with them on a little one. And then they work right up to your 8x8s. So will be a really good stamp set. And really versatile. So we've used our smaller stamp on this one. Again, we've got that white. It stands out more on this one, doesn't it? So we've got our white embossing on vellum, and then I don't know if you can quite see, in the background you have got, it's grey with the seed heads again stamped randomly, is the word I was looking for there, on that one. But again, it just looks so pretty, doesn't it? And then finally, we're back to our blue. Very nice paper, actually. I don't know if you can quite see. It's all like ribbed. Very nice. She's always got nice backing papers, Mum. So we have got that beautiful large one, and then we've got our smaller ones used to create our background. We've got that seed head again. You'll notice that seed head is just a great little filler stamp. So if your background's not quite interesting enough, I guess is the word I'm looking for, pop a couple of the seed heads in, and it soon drags this image into your background, and vice versa, brings the background to the foreground, because it's all the same little image, so it just links the two. So if it's not quite looking quite right, just pop a few of those little seed heads and it'll instantly link the two together, and it'll work beautifully. Right, so we have got some lovely samples using, I like that one, this month's stamp set. Okay, this one is really tricky. I'll have to have a bit of a play with the camera and see if I can get a better picture of it. Okay. The small one does make beautiful backgrounds. It really does. So I've kind of concentrated on having like big bold backgrounds and then a flower, whereas Mum's incorporated the two because that's how Mum works. That's her skill. She is very, very skilled at using flowers to create beautiful backgrounds. And then really simple polyplate and just a stamp. Yeah. So we are going to play with polyplates, but I'm going to do it next week when we've got a little bit more time, because I want to, I know I keep going on about these stamps are great for big bold backgrounds, and that is what we've got. So if we look at, there is method in my madness here, if you bear with. If you look at these three, let me move these out of the way. Oh, thank you all. Now, if you look at these three, they are exactly the same colours. Yeah, the same 3 distress oxides. And actually I'm going to grab them because I'm going to use them again tonight. So, black pistachio. Why is it never eat? Oh, it's because they're on my desk, that's why. You can tell how often I've been in here over Christmas, can't you? So the 3 colours, let me see if you can see it there. There we go. So cracked pistachio, peacock feathers, and pitch raspberry. Those are my go-to colours. Occasionally, I will change that for wilted violet if I'm on a more darker, more like moody, kind of mystical kind of background. But these would be my 3 go-to colours. I know these 3 work together, and I know I can create lovely backgrounds really quick and simple. So these are the ones I go to if I'm not quite sure how I want my backgrounds, how I want my cards to turn out. So what I did, because I know these colours work together, I've tried to create some backgrounds. Oh, I'm molting again. There we go. So we've got a strip. So easy. Masking tape and colour it in. So 3 colours. If I did this again, I would probably put those little seed heads in it just to add a little bit more to it. We've got a scrap, which is very similar to this one. So I've literally just coloured that piece of card in using these 3 colours and then stamped over the top. And this one's the same, so just adding on to this one. So I've coloured it in, I've done splodges of colour everywhere. I've used some water to create some texture on there as well, so doing some drops on there. You can see 3 different looks, and we're going to do another couple of different looks using those colours tonight. Because I just thought, you know what, sometimes backgrounds stump people, and this stamp set is a great one for us to have a look at backgrounds. And we'll be looking at polyplates. Polyplates next week though. I promise we will do polyplates next week. So we'll do distress inks and oxides on our polyplates. And we'll just have a bit of a play with them. Yeah? Does that sound like a plan? So I'm going to move them up there. I'm going to stick with 6-inch card, because then you've got a direct comparison, haven't you, of what we are looking at and what we've done. So I'm just going to move that to the side. What you want, and I know I do this all the time, what you want is a shiny surface. I use my worktop because it's got like, it's not quite a tablecloth. It's actually a photography background. Yeah, so it's nice and shiny, water resistant. Yeah, and that's what we want. So all I'm going to do is, ooh, I should have cut 3 cards out actually. We might have to cut a 3rd card. So you can see I have just splodged my palest colour. Always start with your palest one, and then we're going to spritz. And what I'm trying to do is get lovely bubbles. There we go. Can we see we've got lots and lots of puddles of colour. And I'm literally just going to splat my card into this. Yeah. And I'm going for all over. So if you don't want to sit there distressing for too long, this is another, ooh, again, just about to see it there. She says, where's my kitchen roll? I got all excited and I haven't got any kitchen roll. What sure what I've done with it. Right, bear with 2 seconds because I can't really do much, can I, with... Oh, hang on. I'd put it away. I've got a little trolley now under my desk. I forgot I tidied stuff away. I'm going to pop that back over there. I'm going to give this a quick dry. So that was cracked pistachio. And you can see, well, I don't know whether you can see. I'll move it in a minute once it stopped drifting. Turn that light down a little bit. Let's see it a bit better. Nope. So all I'm trying to do is make sure this is dry, because the last thing I want to do is pop another colour on and it not be dry. Right, now it's gone a bit curly, so if I bring that up to my camera a little bit, you can't quite see it. How annoying. Too much light now. Anyway, you have got a lovely pale green, you have got a deeper green, you've got a bit of yellow in there, and you've also got the starts of what looks like peacock feathers. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So that's where we move on to our peacock feathers. So I'm going to do exactly the same. Pop some on my desk and spritz. And I know I do this all the time because it is one of my favourite techniques for adding colour. And it's a great one if you're not quite sure what you want to do. There we go. So we've now got a bit of peacock feather on there. Again, I'm going to dry that. Now I could leave it at just the 2. Might do, might not. But you'll notice the first one I use lots of, the second one not quite as much. Come on, there's always one drop that doesn't want to dry. There we go. I'll take it off instead. But you really do need to make sure this is dry. One, because if you don't, it mixes all your colour, but then when you come to stamp, you need your card dry for your Versafine Clair to go over your oxides properly. If not, it kind of repels it a little bit, and we don't want that. Right, there's that one. And I think got a big noisy aeroplane going over the top. So I have got my peacock feathers and my crap pistachio. I am going to put a little bit of the pink on. And I'm only using a little bit of the pink, not as much at all. There we go. But really, really quick, easy background. Oops. Sending things flying, didn't mean to. So as I'm drying it this time, we've got our colours now for our background. But I'm now looking at it and going, right, when I come to position my dandelion, because I'm going to do 3 or 2, or maybe even 1, because I haven't quite decided yet. Where's the area of interest? So where's going to be best placed to pop my dandelion? So at the moment you can see we've got that big pink patch going across the bottom. I don't think so, because our dandelions are tall, so it tells me it needs to go that way. Yeah, so I'm using my background to tell me now what my next steps are. Come on. At this rate, I'm going to need my peg. I'm burning my fingers. Nearly. Right, that's going to be it. So, if we start looking at this background, we have got like an area of pink and then a little bit down here. So, it's shouting out to me this way because I'm thinking dandelion and then our saying where we haven't got as much pink. Yeah? So I'm going to start building up my background next, she says, and then suddenly went, ooh, where's my stamps? They're next to me, luckily. So I'm going to use, thanks for brightening up my day. And I'm going to go back to my colours. So I've got my peacock feathers or my cracked pistachio to do. And if my flower head's going to be here, this is where I'm going to start adding most of my detail. Yeah, so I'm just going to ink it up. Again, this doesn't really matter, it's a background. The only important stamping we have got to do is that dandelion at the end. So all the bits of stamping leading up to that, yes, we want them to look good, but they don't have to be perfect. I didn't mean to quite do this as solid as I have. So I think quite liking that. And then give that a quick wipe because we have been using oxides with it. I'm going to grab those little like seed heads and we're going to put them randomly on my stamping block. Might actually turn it around so we've got them flying off in all directions. And I'm going to stick for my peacock feathers. Yep, so again I'm working the same way we built up our colours. I'm going to do that to create the texture on my card. And again, we're just going to splat first, second, third generation until you can't see your ink. And it's also a great way of cleaning your stamp if you're lazy like me. And keep moving your paper, keep moving your stamp. There we go. And just keep moving it all the way around. Keep leaving bits everywhere today in my ink. So I think I'm going to leave that actually as the background goes. And then I'm going to, oh, I'm not. I was going to say I'm going to start stamping. I'm not going to start stamping because I want it dry. I'm just going to make sure. And you can see how subtle that cracked pistachio is in the background for our words. Yeah, love those words in the background. Go. Right, I'm going to cheat now. I'm going to turn my card on its side because when it comes to stamping, this is more comfortable for me to stamp than sitting here trying to stamp like that. Yep, so I'm making it easy for myself. I'm turning things around. Path of least resistance generally means it should work. So I'm just going to ink this up. I'm such a messy inker-upperer today. So I'm going to pop this one here. Oh, did you hear my elbow crack then? Oh, felt quite good actually. I've got to say, going back to school and everything today was a bit of a shock to the system. Didn't realise I hadn't moved quite as much as I should have done over Christmas. There we go. I'm going to pop that one in there. And having to get up. Oh. Like Bear suggested, it should have been a pyjama day at school. And then it wouldn't have been so hard to get up. Right, so we have that stamped. I might have gone a bit too far over for my sentiment, but we will figure that out shortly. I'm just going to give that a bit of a dry. You can see they just stand out, don't they? But how simple is that for background? Splodge your colour on, stamp a few sayings and a few seed heads. But again, I'm sticking with the three Distress Oxides that I used on those other samples to show you how with just 3 inks you can make so many different looks. So let me just pop my hair back because it was getting in the way. So now I'm going to bring that pink in. So I'm going to grab, I did have a paintbrush, there it is. Grab my pink, pop in a little bit on my table again. And I don't want this solid. Yeah, Bear always comes up with the best ideas. So I'm just adding a little bit of pink. I needed a bit more. It's getting that balance right of how much ink you want to the water. Because I don't want it to be pink and jumping off the page at me. But I want that subtle hint of pink. You can't even see I've done it, can you? There we go. I've got that subtle hint of pink on there. I'm just going to do exactly the same on this one. I'm going a bit more heavy-handed this time so that you might be able to see it. And again, I'm not really worrying about it if it reactivates my Distress Oxide or that's underneath, because we know these colours work together. We know they'll mix together well. I'm just going to add a bit more to that centre. I'm just making more and more piles of ink on my desk counter. Some water somewhere there. So I'm just making it a little bit darker in that centre. There we go. But there's nothing difficult about what we've been doing today, this evening. Get in there. It's drying. There we go. Right. And now, so they are standing out and they look really pretty and you'd get away with sending that. However, I've done it on all my samples because I think it just looks, I even went back to my earlier samples. I've got a very pale grey and I'm just going round and adding a little bit to it. You could if you wanted to, or actually if you were using a stamping press, move it ever so slightly so you get that second image. So twist and turn it like a millimetre. But can you see how I'm not even trying to get near my lines here? One's standing out a little bit more, isn't it? It's only really subtle. Oh, Mary's come up with an idea. It could be Christmas ornaments. They could indeed. That would look lovely. That's a really good idea, Mary. Thank you. There we go. And again, I'm just going to come down here. Obviously, if you wanted it to stand out a bit more, I could have chosen a pink pen. Blue would have looked quite nice as well. I could have embossed my dandelions, but I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Because I think this flower does do all the talking for us. Oops, there we go. And I've actually got quite a light grey here. There we go. So, can you see how much more they are jumping out now? We've just done that little bit of grey through them. There we go. Right. So, to finish that off, I would choose the same sentiment. Oh, I did, look. See, I meant to do that, obviously. I left myself just enough room for my sentiment, but before I do that, I'm just going to rumbly tumbly time. There we go. Add a bit of ground for our... How pretty is that? Right, we could have had some seed heads falling away, but I've put my sentiment there instead. Just going to ink that up. I'm going to turn it around actually. Make life easier for myself, won't it? Let's get this inked up. And then I'm just going to line it up here-ish. Actually, I'm going to just bop it in a little bit because, yeah, that's a technical term, bop it in a bit. So that if I can find, and it is a case of if I can find at the moment, because I tidied up and moved everything to new homes. So I haven't got a clue where anything is. It all made perfect sense when I was tidying up. Now, not so much. When I actually come to try and use stuff. There we go. So I've just bopped that in a little bit. Ooh. Watch out for me inky pinkies. I think doodling does work on these cards because again it's one of our sketch stamps. So there you go. Really, really quick that one, wasn't it? So I did say I wanted to do a couple of backgrounds. So all over splodge, yeah? Really, really simple to do. But how different does it look? Oh, come on. There you go. I can't pick these up. Right? But how different does it look? All the same 3 inks. Yeah, all the same 3 inks, but you get a completely different look, don't you? That hint of colour, absolutely, it does make a difference. Right, so I have got, I'm not going to stick it onto my card, I'll pop it over there so I don't lose it. So this one, so I know it can be a little bit hairy scary, sitting there and popping a load of ink on your desk, not knowing where it's going to go or what it's going to look like. So what we might choose to do instead, I don't know why I just turned that round, it's a square piece of card, is I'm going to grab my cracked pistachio again. I'm not sure if you're going to see this, but I'm just going to add a little bit to a piece of acetate. So literally this is what, I think my poly plate was on this. That's all I'm using. I'm going to take some water and I'm going to give it a quick spritz. Now, the benefit of doing this is we now choose... I moved my ink there because I didn't want my finger to go in ink. I know, me and inky pinkies. We now choose where we want that to go. We're in total control now of where we're going to splish and splash and splosh. So I am just going to create a little bit of colour. I'm thinking, let me grab my big one again. Yep, so you can see where we're going with this, and we can get really pinpointed in to where we want to go with it. So I think that is more than enough. I'm just going to take that off. And I'm going to do it again, just like we did. Let me move that polymer. Got a polymer worm stuck on this one. There we go. I'm going to give that a quick dry. So it's all the same, it's just we're using less colour, being a bit more subtle. So if the thought of covering a complete piece of card fills you with dread, yeah, no. Change it and just add little splodges using a piece of acetate. I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to go to our peacock feathers, and again I'm going to probably do even less this time. And can you see I've got a bit over here? All I'm going to do is wipe that bit off because there's no other ink there, and you just know that's going to be an inky pinky that I can't cover up somewhere. Again, popping this on. Total control again. So, little splodges. I'm actually going to go a little bit out that way, and you will see why shortly. I've probably given away the game away on this one. But it's a lot more subtle. And again, we could go in with our words if we wanted to. I'm not quite sure if I want to though. I know I never make my mind up, do I? But this is what I love about this stamp set. You can have a whale of a time with your backgrounds, and then you finish off your card in minutes because that dandelion is just so easy. And you don't need much more with it. I am a lazy crafter, aren't I? It's got to be said. Bish bash bosh is what I want. So let me just grab this one again. Oops. Sticking everything together. So we have our lovely dandelion. I've got it the wrong way round at the moment, which is fine. And decisions. I'm going to have a little bit of the pink, just a smidge, not a lot. So again, just going back in again. And again, I'm going to concentrate it mainly. And she says, no I'm not. I've changed my mind as I go. But you're in total control using your piece of acetate or a piece of a cellophane bag or a Polly Pocket thing, anything. So we could add words to this if we wanted to. And I'm still going through in my head, do I want to add words or not? Not sure. Because those sentiments look quite big, don't they? But they would work in this smaller area. I think we will. So I'll choose the other one. The happiest of birthdays to you. There we go. I'm going to go back to my cracked pistachio. So we're using the same colours, we're using the same techniques as we did on the one we've just done. But it is going to look a bit different. So again, just add in. I'm trying not to fill it up as much this time, because I went a bit over the top last time. There we go. Right, stop. Stop, girl. I'm forever doing that, aren't I? I need to stop. No. Just keep on going. So again, we're just going to dry this off so we can stamp that beautiful dandelion this time. And I'm only going to stamp one this time. Again, just make sure it's dry before we hit it with our versatile clay. Versatile clay is very forgiving. However, oxide is a bit of a tricky one sometimes to stamp over. So I'm just giving it a bit of a wiggle to flatten out my card. There we go. I'm not going to jinx it, but I think that wet stuff that falls from the sky might have stopped. Which would be a first this afternoon. There we go. I'm just going to stamp this one randomly. Oh no. And position it. Can you see? We've created that lovely coloured panel. I said, can you see? And then I've got it tucked away in a corner. No, you can't. So we've created that lovely random area of colour. And then we're just going to whack our flower right in the middle of it. There we go. So we've got our lovely little flower. Well, it's not little, it's the big flower I'm using. I'm going to grab those flyaways. So we're going to have it. Oh crap, pistachio. Bits of tissue everywhere. I'm going to have these floating off into the distance. Because someone's been naughty and blown it. Yeah. Just like that. And I'm going to pick it up. Pick it up so it's easy to stamp. There we go. And we're going to have it just like that. Pop that down. And then I'm going to get this dry. And we're going to finish it off. But again, it's really, really simple, isn't it? And I know we've not used the poly plates this week. We will do that next week. I just wanted to give you some really quick little backgrounds that you can do with your stamps. Right, I'm going to grab my pink again. I'm going to put more on my desk this time. Doesn't help my pink's running out. So again, we're just going to come in, give it the idea that it's there. I'm not trying to draw a circle, I'm trying to do like, you know, like cotton wool or candy floss, that's the word I'm looking for. Oh, candy floss it. And again, that centre. I'm going a bit more heavy-handed so you'll see it a bit better this time. A bit subtle last time, which isn't like me, is it? No. You can say it. So we've got that lovely pink. And then, oh, I did. Oh. I'm going to say, I wonder if I've left my stamps together. So all I'm going to do with this, I don't want first generation at all. So let me just grab a bit of scrap. There we go. And then just going to, I should have moved them. There we go. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that big one because he's the one that's causing me the problem. Okay, and it's only really subtle. And to be honest, my pink's probably running out quite a bit as well. But can you see? We now just have those lovely pinks floating away with it. Put that back on there because I do not want to lose both little seeds. And again, I am just going to grab... No, I'm not. I'm going to dry that first. I can't remember if I dried it or not. I'd have probably got away with my picked raspberry stamped on that one instead of second generation in it. Okay, again, I just want this dry before I hit it with my marker pen because again, it looks lovely. Yeah, and you get away with that. In fact, you could just colour in your stalk. Yeah, and you get away with that. But I think it really does make that little bit of a difference. Just. And to be fair, these cards are that quick to do that a couple of minutes just whipping round with a marker. I could have done pink, absolutely. But that meant I'd have to go and find a pink pen. And you know my grey one was. There we go. Yep. So I've got another lovely looking background. Where's my sentiment gone? There it is. And obviously these are like super simple. I'm just doing all one layer. To elevate it, you could stamp your sentiment and mat it on, couldn't you? So this time I'm going to pop this down here. Happiest of birthdays to you. Again, it's quite a wiggly font. So I'm trying to line it up on that to you bit because that's got like the straightest bottom. There we go. So lots and lots of ink on that one. So ink onto my desk. And then this one was ink onto my piece of acetate. Now I wasn't going to do that one. And I did have one more card that I was going to show you. which actually we've got plenty of time because it won't take long at all. So you can see how easy these stamps are to create some gorgeous looking cards. And I will finish these off. Right, but you're going to have to bear with me 2 minutes whilst I grab a piece of card and my guillotine. Just make some space because I need to use my guillotine on here. And we're going to use the same 3 colours again. So we'll have, what will that be, 6 different card ideas using just 3 inks. Again, I know I'm just doing card fronts here. And I'm doing it really quick, so there we go. Let's move this beast of a guillotine out the way. So this one, we are literally, I'm going to use the big one again just because that's what we've used all along, haven't we? And this one is going to be really quick, I promise. So we know we're going to pop it about there. Yep. So I am going to grab a piece of kitchen roll, or your blending brush, or your blending tool, or whatever it is that you use to just add a little bit of colour. So I'm going to go just there. Super simple. I told you, we're not, you know, we're not doing anything new. We're not doing anything like overly complicated. It's just really simple backgrounds that you can get away with using this stamp set. Because I think sometimes we overthink things, don't we? Well, I do. I overthink things. And that's what makes me not craft as much as I should do. So literally, I am just making 3 little circles. Again, it's just creating that area of colour. That's all we want, a little area of colour. And a little bit of hope that your pink's juicy enough to do it. So, maybe stenciling an envelope with some distress oxides. Absolutely, I love my oxides, and I think you get some fantastic looks. Well, like I say, what's this, number 6 card? Using the same 3 colours. They are wonderful. So it's going to look a little bit plain Jane, that, isn't it? So I'm just going to add a little bit of texture. Just drop in some water. I always go quiet, don't I, when I'm playing with water. There we go. Now I've got a wet hand. There we go. Pop that on there. We could have spritzed the whole thing and that would have looked amazing too. However, I'm going for easy and simple. Because for most it's the first day back today, and oof, it was a shock to the systems. So it's not the most difficult background in the world, is it? I've literally made 3 circles. Made it look like a face there. 3 quick circles of ink. we're going to grab, we're not going to use our words this time because that would be a bit too much. But what we can do is I'm just going to move them a little bit closer together. I'm going to go straight for peacock feathers this time. I'm not going to go for subtle. I'm going to go for a bit more. Ooh, I nearly dropped it. Ooh. And we're just adding those lovely little seed heads. Again, such simple little stamps, but they will work wonderfully with your dandelions to create your backgrounds. Right, stop. Can't decide if I want to do another colour. Yes, I do want to do another colour. I'm going to do pink. I'm going to ink up my pink as well. See, doesn't that look a bit better? You don't have to go mad with it. Sometimes you just need one more there because it's got a nerky spot. There we go. Maybe one there too. Right, let's blast this with our heat gun. Told you this one was a really quick one. Well, they've all been really quick, haven't they? There we go. And then, where's he gone? There it is. Again, I'm going to turn it. We could. No. I was going to say, if I'd have kind of clumped it a bit more, we could have done it standing out of the colour. But we're not. We're going to do it in the colour. Ink it and stamp it. I'm actually going to do, can you see how I've kind of got the green behind it there? The green of the cracked pistachio. I wonder if, let me just find my grey. I'm going a bit off piece, not quite what I was going to plan to do. Wrong way, my inks are on the other side. Come on, where are you? There it is. So sometimes your inks go, oh, she's looking for me, and she goes and run off. Right. I think I'm going to use the smaller one, but before I do, yeah, not liking just dangling in the air. I'm just going to ink up a little bit of my stalk, twist it and splat it. There we go. I'll line that up a little bit better, but hey. Right, let's see if... Yeah, actually, I'm going to get away with black. I was going to do grey because I thought it'd be too much, but actually by using the smaller one, we'll get away with it. Now I wish I'd done my circles slightly further apart, but I wasn't to know I was going to change my mind. You all probably knew I was going to change my mind, but... Oh, look at that for bad inking up. Right, I'm going to put that one in there. And again, we're just going to finish its legs off because at the moment it's kind of like hanging around. We don't want that, do we? I'm just going to bring it in a bit closer so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Oops. I actually really like this one. It wasn't quite what I was aiming for, but I think it's worked out pretty good. And of course, to finish them off, I'm going to put a gem in the middle because that centre just cries out for a bit of sparkle or a brad. And again, I'm just going to grab my grey. With this one, I could go round, so like use blue on my blue, green on my green. I'm sure if Mr. Holt heard me saying blue and green for his colours, he'd not be a happy bunny. Nearly there. I think I've redrawn this a million times tonight, haven't I? Not quite, but it feels like it. But I hope I have inspired you to have a quick rethink of backgrounds. Have a play with your inks, experiment. Because we can, with this set, have loads of fun with our inks. Oops. Didn't go down the line, that one, did it? I was going for the shadow effect, that's what it was. You can see, literally, in a matter of minutes, you will get some really great results with this stamp set. I'm running out of steam. There we go. And I do think adding that colour really does make a difference. You're all sat there going, no it doesn't. I think it does. There you go, that's going to go like that. For this one, she says, I'll take it off that one. I think, yeah. Oh, it would fit there. Should we stamp it up there just so we can say we've done it? I think so. And then I'll do a quick recap of everything that's in this month's multi-make, because we haven't even touched the poly plate tonight, which we will. We'll play with that next week. And revisit some of our poly plate techniques. There we go. It's crying out for some gems. It really is. There we go. So it's got to be done. She says, oh, my scissors are all the way over there. Now they're on the floor. What's that saying? More haste, less speed. There we go. Right, I've got my scissors back. Lynn's asking, is it better to send an email or message on Facebook? Either works, Lynn. There we go. I'm just going to pop that. Oops, a daisy. To be fair, email's probably better because Facebook doesn't always tell me when I've got messages these days. I have to remember to go and look. There's that one. Sorry, we're having a bit of a gem fest right now. because I think, well, one, I know where my gems are, and two, I do think it just adds some sparkle to the centre of our little dandelions. Very subtle. Sorry, you're having a big gem. There we go. So that's 6. Cards. Let me see if I can get them all in one place for you. Using those 3 distress oxides. I mean, they all look completely different, don't they? But they are the same 3 colours to create those backgrounds. So there you go. 3 quick and simple background ideas. I'm going to quickly just whip through the samples again. There we go. That one. Okay. There. That's all them. And there we go. It is good having my desk nice and clean. Yeah, because I can actually put things down for a change. So, leaflet. Don't forget you've got your discount code in there. I'm not sure if it's quite working. I'll check that after this. I'm not sure if I've activated it or not. I could have been clever and put it so it came on time date, but I'll double check that. You get your 2 sentiments. So you get thanks for brightening my day. Happiest of birthdays to you. Again, you can see how well those both work with this stamp set. We've got our polyplate, which we will be playing with next week. And then we have that gorgeous stamp set we have been playing with today. With our big one, our little one, and then our little seeds as well. It is a good one, isn't it? I've enjoyed this one. So, that is it for me today. Thank you for joining me. I do hope I've inspired you to get inky with those backgrounds. Grab 3 colours. The ones I've used were cracked pistachio, picked raspberry and peacock feathers, but it works just as well if you want a bit more of a darker tone. If you use wilted violet. I know they're old school colours, but they do work really, really well together. So they're the 3 I've used. As I said before, we've made 6 now using those 3 colours, and they all look completely different. But they all look good, or I think they do. What else was I going to say? So yeah, hope I've inspired you to get your inks and have a bit of a play. We will be playing with that polyplate next week, when we will be back. So thank you for joining me tonight. Do take care, stay safe, and I will see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.